ladies and gentlemen, I am just going to go through a very quick review. So this is Dragon Quest Treasures. Um, I've been playing this game for at least, I think, right now 30 hours into it. Um, what I would say is, if you are familiar with this franchise, I think you will like this game, although it plays very differently from the regular Dragon Quest titles.
I want to find some treasure.
So if you ask me, I think first impressions, I actually know about this Dragon Quest during my younger days, where we are sort of a little bit more influenced with Japanese culture and animated characters. So over here on my side of the world, Dragon Ball is a very popular title, and of course Akira Toriyama, okay, is the manga artist behind this franchise, and he also had other titles which also utilized character designs and very familiar art style that he uses. So that's how I got to know about Dragon Quest. I have never actually played Dragon Quest game to its completion. I think most probably because the more earlier titles for Dragon Quest, it was actually, I think, in Japanese. Yeah, so it wasn't really accessible. And of course, during my time, consoles are pretty expensive. So we're talking about Nintendo console. Yeah, it's quite expensive. So yeah, being a kid, I didn't have the privilege to actually play this game for real, especially the RPG titles. But I'm glad, finally, at my age now, I get to play at least one, okay, that has Dragon Quest art style and Dragon Quest characters. I've been seeing all these monsters my entire life on the manga. I haven't watched any anime that is based on Dragon Quest. I know it's a very sad life I have, but I'm catching up. I'm catching up, and I really like it. I like it so much that I can play 30 hours into the game. There must be something that I like about this game, right? Yeah, so basically you start off the game as Maya and Eric. So these two characters are basically, I would say, brothers and sisters. They have this ultimate dream of, you know, catching on to some treasure hunting on their own after being, stranded on a pirate ship doing other people's work. Yeah, so they have finally took the courage to become treasure hunters themselves. Yeah, Treasure Hunter Inc. Yes. So much so, then they actually landed on this mysterious place with the help of these two very interesting characters. Basically, it's a flying piggy and a flying kato. Alright, so yeah, which has mystery stories behind it. But it's obvious. The more you actually play this game, the more you can tell where this game is, or where the story is actually going. The part that really gets me is when I start to look for treasures and you actually see a monster vision of the treasures. Yeah, so it's like, the monsters will show you probably where the treasures are, but you just need to look closely, okay, for some flashing light somewhere, and you can actually grab treasure. Different monsters will actually see the location differently, and as a player, you just need to figure out where exactly the treasure is. All right, some they will probably give you a black and white vision. Okay, they just can't tell you exactly where is it. But it's a very nice snapshot kind of puzzle game. So this is one of the puzzle elements in game that can be quite interesting at times. Just going through all that, I think it's really fun to figure out, where exactly is these things. And when you think about it, the environment actually has a good level of similarity. So you really need to end up guessing, okay, is it this piece of rock, or it's that corner of that tuft of bush? Yeah, sometimes it really got me, especially in places where there are a lot of mountains and a lot of big rocks. Yeah, you really need to crawl around before you actually see that mist of treasure appearing, and you start digging for it. Yeah, so it's challenging sometimes. So speaking of which, if you talk about combat with your characters can take in two ways, right? Basically, you do have a magic dagger, that you can strike the enemy with, or you can use your elastic to shoot monsters. And the interesting thing here is your bullets that you use for your elastic can actually comes in attack, or even sometimes buff, and sometimes even heal. Yeah, so sometimes having enough bullets for different occasions would be good. If you are not the type that goes into a battle and starts hitting people with your dagger, you can basically play a support lane as well. Yeah, so it's just keep shooting the healing bullets, to your monsters to keep them alive. That's one way to do it. All right. You're not gonna be very strong with your dagger, but sometimes it's like the final killing blow. It's probably good enough in most cases. Now your dagger can actually release healing potentials of your monsters. Alright, so basically you can activate certain special skills, and that might actually help your monster take down the enemy much faster. I used it very much, and I can't wait to see even more special effects. Okay, I would say it's quite nice to actually see all the special moves, okay, from all the monsters. Can't wait to unlock more. So it's a wonderful treat, okay, for those of you who are into Dragon Quest monsters. Alright, and how can you not love the design of these monsters? There are many different types of quests here. You can go for the main quest. Usually I would recommend you going through the main quest because you can unlock a lot more stuff. Definitely, for sure, 100%. There is also gang quest. Gang quest is basically, things that you can do in your headquarters to actually increase, some features that you have in the headquarters. Some may help you actually get a little bit further ahead in the game faster. Sometimes there are some special quests that pops up in the middle. They do have daily quests, so if you guys just fancy a short run or something to achieve, that's really good. Sometimes you can actually find a treasure map, so if you really want to hunt for something, I think that's pretty good. Of course, there is a list of monsters, so as you go through different places or different exploring new areas, okay, you basically get to unlock monsters. Each monster family has a different forte at their disposal. So some lets you glide, some lets you sprint, some lets you scan, and then some gives you stealth. Wow. You can hire them as part of your team. Of course, it takes some skills to actually get them into your team. You basically come back to the headquarters and you talk to Cecily. Alright, so Cecily will basically offer you a few options like potential new recruits. Alright, so you choose from a list of monsters here that can basically bring you the best combination when you go out for exploration later. So you'll find that whenever you go out exploring anywhere in the world, it actually has this thing like a weather forecast. Yeah, it's like they call it a treasure forecast. So it's like every area basically has a different requirement to get you the best chance of looking for treasures. So I think this is a very interesting way to design the game. It keeps things fresh. You don't really necessarily bring the same type of character in all your explorations. So one of the things that I would actually advise you guys to do if you are starting this game new is to try and unlock all the stations. Unlock all the stations in the world. Of course, there will be a hidden island somewhere in the game, but that comes later. But if you can unlock all the stations that you can find in the game, it helps traveling a lot faster. Because one of the things about this game, which I think it's not a very good point, and a lot of players has been complaining about it, is your character actually walks quite slow. Especially when you are in your second or third hour into the game, you probably do some treasure hunting for about 2 or 3 hours already, and you probably notice that Eric or Maya, depending on who you're playing, actually walks very slow. They really take their time and walk very slow. So yeah, you want a faster way to move around. I would say try and get a spot. Yeah, it's that tiger monster. All right, or any character that actually helps you run. It actually helps you move from one spot to another spot faster. All right. Those of you who are buying the deluxe version, you will actually get a spot, okay, for free, which is a good plus. Okay, it helps you move around the game faster. If I want to talk about the scenery, it's fantastic. Really, really fantastic scenery. I couldn't believe what I saw, especially when I started playing the daily quest. I play the daily quest. They will actually show you certain very interesting places in the in-game world, testament of the quality that you're paying for. Yeah, it helps keep the game going. It helps refreshes your eyes while you're hunting for that exclusive treasure. Yeah, so it's a pretty good how I say plus point of this game. This is also another reason why I like this game. It has a lot to see and explore. If you're planning to spend like more than 40 hours on this game, you gotta need that. But so far, I'm still liking it. There are tons of treasures to look for. Yeah, it's fantastic. What you will get when you get into like 20-30 hours into the game, yeah, it's not that bad. Yeah, so it's like it's really cute. I mean, knowing that you can actually have a lot of treasures piling up in your headquarters like this, it's like totally awesome, guys. Totally awesome. Yeah. And you know, the more monsters you unlock, you know, the more of them will be dancing and happily hanging around in your headquarters. I think it's a really, really fantastic insight. Yeah. So anyway, stuff that I do in my headquarters, you basically collect treasures. Yeah, that's how the game works. You go around, you find treasures, you explore different worlds, and you get to bring a few monsters with you while you're trying to hunt down all these really precious treasures, and you can have your own precious treasure room.
Well, my blue-eyed friends, I suppose I'll see you